The real reason *2* series regulars are mysteriously missing on Chicago PD, as One Chicago cuts characters left and right. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, Soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. Chicago PD Season 12, Episode 20. Black Ice saw the show focus on Adam Ruzek, Patrick Pfluger, as the team investigated a case involving sex trafficking. But the episode was pretty notorious, not just for the focus on Ruzek, and by default, on his partner and wife-to-be, Kim Burgess, Marina Scorchietti. It was also pretty notable because of who wasn't in the episode. We've already seen Dante Torres missing from multiple episodes of the show this season. But this time, Dante, Benjamin Levy Aguilar, wasn't the one missing. Instead, it was Kevin Atwater, LaRoyce Hawkins, and Kiana Cook, Toya Turner. So where were Kevin Atwater and Kiana Cook on Chicago PD? The entirety of One Chicago has suffered from a case of disappearing characters this season, likely because episode minimums for all series regulars were lowered in an attempt to lower the costs for all series. That means that series regulars are no longer expected to appear in all episodes, which is why this episode had the absence of not one, but two of them. Typically, the show has been better about making sure only one of them was missing at a time, so their absence isn't as obvious. But they might have felt that with a case focused on Adam, everyone would be focusing on Adam and Kim anyway. More, Chicago PD's best and worst characters, ranked. It is indeed so, though Dante pops up to help in the investigation every now and then, likely because he has been missing for enough episodes that he doesn't need to pull a disappearing act any longer. Voight is also around, though for Voight's standards, he isn't in the episode all that much. With the last two episodes focusing on the team's pursuit of Deputy Chief Reed, Sean Hatosi, this was likely the last chance the show had to have an episode without any of the series regulars around. Chicago PD seems to be the one show of the One Chicago shows that has it easier when it comes to the budget cuts the other two are facing. They have a smaller cast and could conceivably keep everyone going into Season 13, and then just play Russian roulette of who is in which episode, just do it more often. Or if there is indeed a need to really cut someone, chances are they wouldn't cut the characters who have been the longest. That, however, would be a real shame. Both Kiana and Dante have brought a lot of interesting dynamics that have yet to be explored to the team. With the promise of a shorter season next year, and the way the show can just write out characters one episode or two at a time, often without giving explanations, why not just do that and not cut characters that they could keep? Chicago has always been a city of grit, and more grit, especially when it comes to Chicago PD, the crown jewel of Dick Wolf's One Chicago empire. The intelligence unit has braved countless shootouts, conspiracies, and betrayals, but fans have been left blindsided this season, not by a crime on screen, but by the mysterious disappearance of two beloved series regulars. As the show dives deeper into corruption, chaos, and the moral gray zones that make Chicago PD so compelling, two once prominent characters have quietly slipped into the shadows. So why the sudden silence? Let's get one thing straight. This isn't just about screen time. It's about the heart and pulse of the unit changing, whether fans are ready or not. Who's missing? Fans quickly notice that Officer Kevin Atwater, LaRoyce Hawkins, and Detective Dante Torres, Benjamin Levy Aguilar, haven't been getting their usual share of storylines. In fact, both actors have been absent from multiple episodes this season, with barely a line of dialogue to explain their vanishing acts. Atwater, the moral compass of the team, has long carried heavy storylines that blends systemic injustice with personal trauma. From his tense relationship with the community to navigating racism within the force, he's been a quiet but crucial powerhouse on the show. Torres, a more recent addition to the squad, brought fresh blood and a streetwise perspective, giving the unit insight into gangs and neighborhoods others couldn't penetrate. His backstory, full of survival and silent strength, made him a standout rookie. But now, nothing but whispers and vague references to undercover assignments. The official word, or lack thereof, NBC and Wolf Entertainment has stayed maddeningly vague. Storyline-driven decisions, they said in boilerplate statements. Characters will rotate more fluidly this season to accommodate the evolving dynamics of the unit. Translation: don't hold your breath for a formal exit arc or a satisfying one. Insiders, however, tell a different tale. A source close to production hinted that budget constraints and narrative restructuring are behind the decision. There's a lot of pressure right now, the source says. All 3 One Chicago shows are being told to tighten things up, and that means cutting characters, even if they're fan favorites. Behind the budget curtain, network TV isn't the powerhouse it once was. With rising production costs, a looming SAG-AFTRA contract renegotiation, and the ever-looming presence of streaming, shows like Chicago PD are being forced to make tough calls. Actors with long tenures command higher pay. That makes them, unfortunately, easier to cut when the budget axe swings. LaRoyce Hawkins, a series veteran since season 1, was reportedly in talks for a contract renegotiation last year. It wasn't hostile, one insider says, but it wasn't smooth either. Meanwhile, Benjamin Levy Aguilar, still newer to the cast, may have fallen victim to what's known internally as the testing period, a time where newer characters are weighed for long-term viability. And in this case, they just didn't make the financial cut. The creative shakeup. There's also a new showrunner steering the ship, and with that comes a vision shift. The new tone is said to lean more Voight-centric, with Jason Biggs, brooding team leader, returning to the foreground after several seasons sharing the limelight. The recentered focus on Voight's moral ambiguity and rogue methods means characters who don't orbit his choices as closely may be left adrift. What you're seeing is a return to the earlier seasons, gritty, serialized, and deeply focused on 1 or 2 characters, a crew member told us. The ensemble is taking a backseat. It's not personal. It's just the plan. Fan fallout and social media storms. Naturally, fans are not taking this quietly. I didn't wait 10 seasons for Atwater to vanish into thin air. One fan tweeted, while another asked, "Where is Torres?" He was just getting good. TikTok has been flooded with fan theories, including one particularly popular conspiracy that Atwater is being spun off into his own Chicago Justice-style series. While there's no concrete evidence of this, it hasn't stopped the speculation or the petitions. A Change.org campaign to bring back Atwater and Torres full-time has already racked up over 25,000 signatures. Even cast members have been cryptically vague. In a recent Instagram Live, Hawkins said, "There's more to the story. I promise y'all. Just stay tuned." Aguilar, meanwhile, posted a black and white photo of his badge and a single word: silence. Could this be strategic? Some believe this disappearance may be a misdirection, setting up a major return arc. After all, Chicago PD has pulled this stunt before. Remember when Voight was MIA after his son's death? Or when Ruzek vanished into the witness protection program? Disappearing without explanation is a trick the show has mastered, and sometimes it leads to explosive comebacks. But for now, fans are left with only shadows. No confirmation of exit. No dramatic send-off. Just the slow fate of two beloved characters as Chicago PD continues to tighten its cast list in the name of budget and creative direction. What's next? Sources say the mid-season finale could hold some answers. Rumors swirl of a multi-episode arc that could reintroduce one or both missing officers. Possibly entangled in a secret op Voight has been hiding from the team. It's a slow burn, a writer hinted anonymously. But there's payoff coming.